exciting season this was. Obviously, the biggest thing that we brought you this season was the Gray Market Challenge. Avi came to me with this idea, and I'm like, I'm not so sure that we're going to get people to drop everything that they're doing and come here to compete for a possible job. And lo and behold, we had 148 submissions. We narrowed it down to 11, I believe. And we interviewed 11 people, 10 people, I think it ended up being, one remotely because he had COVID. And lo and behold, I was very pleasantly surprised as to how many people wanted to do what we do. And I was really, really taken back when I saw all these interviewees come in. And being a nice guy, I had a very, very tough time sending 7 of them home after spending a grueling day of interviewing and taping and filming and so on and so forth. But ultimately, we ended up with 4. Along the way, 1 dropped out. You guys saw Josh drop off if you were following our journey, and we were left with 3. Dave, Kevin, who came in as a wild card 2 weeks into the process, so realistically only had about 2.5 months. We had David left, and we also obviously had Peter. Peter also came in a little bit later in the game. He was about a week late because he was leaving his existing job, and he wanted to leave on good terms, which I respect a lot. So in reality, we got 3 guys left. 1 had the full 3 months, another one had 2.5 months, and the third one had 2 months and 3 weeks approximately. They have achieved a lot since being here. Every single challenge, I want to reiterate this, every single challenge that was done here, it was not done for the purpose of creating content, things that you guys have seen here on the show. It was done for the purpose of lining them up to become a successful salesperson here at Luxury Bazaar. So when we did things like social media challenges, create a best reel. Well, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that a lot of our business comes via social media. We all have a big social media presence, be it YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, etc. It's part of the job. Selling someone a watch, the knowledge challenge, all those things is what make up a salesperson. The difference is the existing people that are here have learned all these things over years, some months, some years. These guys had to do it in 3 months. So the overall challenge to them to drop everything that they were doing. One guy came in from Europe. Another guy left a job that he had held for 10 years. Another gentleman left his own business more or less to come work here. So a lot of sacrifices on their part, and just the challenge in general was extremely, extremely difficult on a personal level. And I admire every single one of the contestants, to include Josh, who's no longer with us. With that said, we still have to announce the final results. I'm going to bring the 3 guys on. Guys, come on in. I was going to make them all sit on that couch together, but Peter felt squished. So I'm going to have Peter sit next to me because I don't want to, unless you want to sit on Kevin's lap.
No, I'm all right.
So, guys, first of all, bottom of my heart, entire team, we commend you for what you've done. To step up to this type of challenge, to literally flip your life upside down, and not knowing whether you're going to have a job at the end of the 3 months is a huge, huge thing to take on, as far as I'm concerned. And for that, I applaud every single one of you. Again, to include Josh, who's no longer here. But at the end of the day, this was a challenge. And at the end of the challenge, we strictly said somebody was going to end up with a job and somebody's going to end up winning a Rolex. Unfortunately, two of you guys are going to go home tonight. And you'll come back tomorrow morning. Because ultimately, I decided that my goal was to end up with 4 new salespeople in the company, which is why we brought on a 4th, i.e. Kevin. Ultimately, I think I got 75% there because now I'm going to end up with 3 more kick-ass salespeople. And not just salespeople, but those that fit into the family, that fit into the environment, that fit into the culture. The 3 of you couldn't be any more different than anybody can imagine, but yet somehow you all fit in your own ways. You all set your own mark being here. Everybody that's here on the team loves working with every single one of you. There were some trials and tribulations along the way. I guess I'll start from the furthest, starting with Kevin coming in here, having zero knowledge of anything that has to do with the luxury world, anything to do with watches specifically, anything to do with jewelry. The only thing you came in here is motivation and hunger. At some point, I felt that you were fake. I literally came to Anna and Adrian. I'm like, is it me? Or was like this overly excessive enthusiasm like seems fake to me. And then both me, Anna, and Adrian came to the conclusion that no, that's just how you are. Your drive, your motivation, your enthusiasm is through the roof. It's coming out of your ears, it's coming out of your pores. And I think that's what made you successful here. Again, I'm not going to downplay the fact that you do come from a sales environment. Having worked for a cell phone company, selling cell phones doesn't not make you a good enough salesperson. A good salesperson can sell socks, right? David came in here, and right out of the gate, I told you during your interview process you were nervous. I noticed that you were nervous, and that nervousness carried through with you for probably the first month and a half that you were here. You then came to me, which the timing was perfect. I'll be dead honest with you. The day that you came to me, frustrated, down on your luck, depressed, borderline, you know, you were at that borderline. You were at the borderline. Is this the next guy that's going to get eliminated? And in the back of my head, I'm saying to myself that, you know what? Business is business, but there's still a human factor, which makes this place a great place to work because we care about the humans that are here. We care about the human factor. And I said, I'm going to give this guy the good old Roman speech to see if I can motivate him and turn around. And luckily enough, and it wasn't on me. I was just sort of that little push. It was you that literally made a 180-degree turnaround, started selling watches right away. Your mood changed entirely. You took a different approach to things, ended up being successful. Peter, besides taking apart the brick watch, that wasn't the only accomplishment here. It's nice to have somebody in here that's able to pass on their knowledge to others. You're not a knowledge, you don't hog the knowledge, right? You don't want to be, oh, I'm that guy. You're always willing to show Kevin, Dave, Alex, and everybody else in the team, myself included, sometimes things that I didn't even know. It's nice to have a person that's extremely hands-on. It's also nice to have a person that's extremely experienced, because with you, what you brought to the table outside of the ability to sell watches is you also brought buying knowledge. Yes, granted, your market is very niche right now. 4 or 5 digit day just, but you know, being here in this environment, how quickly that can expand. And that's the opportunity here, but those are some of the things that you brought to the table. I think the only challenge you had here is you almost died a couple of weeks ago. His fever was like 180 degrees, and oddly enough, it was during the time when there was a challenge, so we had him on FaceTime. You know, that was a pretty big challenge for Peter. I mean, how high did you feel go up to?
104.
Yeah, he had like 104 fever. Yeah, he still got on FaceTime. He was a little pale, I have to say. You know, he looked like he was about to fall over, but nevertheless, he was still on the phone. It was interesting. I had these two big guys sitting on one side, and then Peter, as big as he is to begin with, in a tiny little iPhone on FaceTime, which was great. But look, guys, I looked at the challenges. I think by now the cat's out of the bag. You guys know that challenges did play a role in the winner of the overall challenge. But ultimately, it came down to, most importantly, how you guys fit into the culture, your work ethic, your motivation, and the fact that I needed to be convinced that every single one of you could see a future here and a potential to grow. You came in the market as the market just took a dip, right? And originally, me and Adrian said, hey, this is the worst time for them to come in, because they would have come in a year and a half ago or a year ago, they would have been selling watches left and right. And then both me and Adrian said, wait a minute. No, this is the better time for them to come in, because when stuff is, sort of falling on your lap and it makes it look easy, it's very hard to transition from, selling 5 watches a day to all of a sudden things slowing down tremendously. Ask Alex, he'll tell you about it. He had a tough time transitioning from that. He got over that hump, of course. But ultimately, I think you guys did come in at the right time. The challenges were more or less even. I think when it comes to the challenges, I think Peter was holding the winning spot by a challenge, and rightfully so, because a lot of the challenges you already had experience on. And before I left for my winter vacation, I said, look, now show me the money, right? And ultimately, I looked at revenue over the 3 months. Now, guys, I'm going to call out some numbers here, and the 3 guys collectively, 2 guys out of the 3 did about $250,000 in sales, and 1 guy came in at $877,000 in sales. Now, had those numbers being more or less even, I would most likely have a tougher time choosing the winner. But ultimately, this job is about producing. This is a salesperson position. We're here to sell a product, all while educating clients, all while providing excellent customer service, all while doing all the things that we taught you throughout the challenges. It's fair to say that those numbers were produced by you guys in less than 2 months, which is actually very, very impressive if I go backwards and I look at some of the other salespeople when they started. But ultimately, the individual with an overwhelmingly highest grossing or highest revenue is the winner that I decided to choose. And if your sales were more or less in line with each other, I'll be honest with you, I couldn't pick a winner that if you paid me. Because I think that on all other check boxes, we're checked by every single one of you, which is, I want all 3 of you to stay here if you have us, obviously. But ultimately, the person with $877,000 in sales in less than 2 months was 𝗵𝗵𝗄𝗧, the underdog, the Philly special, right? Philly special. And we did promise a Rolex to the winner of the challenge. This was the Rolex that we chose, so.
Wow, thank you guys.
Well, you might want to open and see what it is.
See what it is. This is crazy too, because if you guys know the journey that I'm on, I got rid of my watch to get my wife a watch, and now a watch falls back on my wrist. Oh, no way! No way! Hold on, can they see it? No, that's amazing, brother. Yes. Wow.
Congratulations. And I want to say congratulations, not just to you. I want to say congratulations to all of you, because ultimately what we ended up with is we ended up.
Wow. Get out of here.
Hold
Get
it
out
up.
of here. No way.
Does it say RJ on the back?
Oh my God. No way. I don't even know what to say. Damn. Dude, shout out to everybody. Can I start with the shout outs? Shout out to everybody.
We'll be here all day. We don't have that kind of time.
Wow.
Look, guys, here's what I wanted to say here's what I wanted to say as a closing to every single one of you.
Nice, brother.
Wow. Sorry, it's gonna be hard to focus for like 5 minutes.
How many wows do I wait for? So look, ultimately, we are, and I say we collectively, not just myself, Adrian, Anna, but every single individual in this company. I will tell you one thing. Everybody in this company was rooting for everyone just the same. Ultimately, from a business perspective, I wanted all 4 to succeed, to increase my sales staff to begin with. Sales team is something we're going to get into with Anna in a little bit. But going forward, the one lesson you guys learned, and you learned right away, was forget about yesterday, move on to tomorrow. There might be a few more rough months ahead, but ultimately, you see the possibility that's available to you by sheer example of the sales that you have done, of a little bit of clientele that you managed to pick up along the way in a very short amount of time. And you see what the opportunity is here. And the only thing it comes down to is one thing, but not just Kevin, but every single one of you have done. And that's the grind, the hustle, the positive mentality, and the teamwork first and foremost. And all 3 of you have achieved that. So bravo to that. Congratulations to every single one of you. Go back to work. I got a life to do.
Awesome.
Hey, Peter, can you take out a link for me?
No, seriously. I was waiting. Seriously. Wow. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. This is crazy.
Oops, sorry.
All right, guys. So there you have it. I'm gonna bring on. I'm gonna wait for it to hug it out back there, but. You want to take that camera back, maybe, because Anna's going to sit there. Anna, come on in. Yeah, and we're gonna bring in.
What?
All right, come here. All right, so Adrian is going to be over there. All right, so. Oh yeah, you need a mic. There you go. That's so cute. All right, is Adrian on?
Yo.
Is Adrian on there? All right. So Adrian is, which one? Guys, there's something going on behind the scenes there's 15 cameras here. They're trying to figure out which one to point on who. All right. So now it's back to me and Adrian and Anna, and I wanted to have Adrian say a few things about the challenge and what he thought overall about this exercise. Is it still lagging on?
I'm here. I'm here.
Well, let me know when he's done talking.
Well, that's not fair.
Yeah, let me see the iPad. There you go.
Oh, hold on.
So
maybe I
because
can-
Adrian is not physically here, I can't really hear him talk.
He's not talking.
Is Adrian done talking?
I'm right here.
Oh, do you want to say? Do you want to like reiterate what just happened? Like, we want everybody staying.
Okay, so Adrian, can you hear me? All right, so obviously, because you were dialing in remotely, you didn't see what just happened because you were waiting in the studio.
I
I
saw
announced the
everything.
winner as Kevin, and
Saw everything.
we ended up keeping all three people. I just wanted to get your take on it.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm here.
Can you hear him?
I can hear him.
Yeah, they can hear him online.
You know what?
Hello?
While you guys work out those technical difficulties, I am going to let Anna speak in regards to the challenge. So Anna,
Okay.
you go.
Well, just like you said, I think I could never do what you guys did and just
I don't
leave
know. I'm
everything
here.
that I
I'm on a
have
split
to
screen. I
start a
don't know.
new job. I mean, I started.
You. All you have to do
Oh,
is talk.
I was talking.
I
They
started
weren't
this
damn
straight
saying
out
we
of
can't hear you.
college, so
That-
I don't know if I had another job, would I just drop everything and move across the
Yeah.
country to start something completely new?
How about across
So-
the world?
Across the
Well, some of them.
world. I mean, right. I mean, I did move. I did.
You did move across the
Immigrate
world, yeah. You did
twice.
immigrate.
But I really commend them for doing so, and I was really truly rooting for all of them, and I'm happy that they proved us wrong at the end, because we did consider to eliminate a few people, but I'm very proud of all of them, and congrats to Kevin on his new watch,
Yo, Kevin.
Grail. I'm sure I'm gonna hear about it for the next 2 hours, but everybody did a great job.
We got
And we're ready for Adrian to talk.
I've been
go for it.
talking. I've been listening. Can anybody hear me?
Everybody hears you.
Roman.
Yo!
You.
Good talk.
Good talk.
Unbelievable.
Say hello.
Adrian,
Yes, Roman.
your thoughts on the gray market challenge overall?
My thoughts is, can I just FaceTime you?
Huh? I think he's FaceTime.
Tell Roman to pick up his phone.
Everything's perfect on that.
Can he FaceTime you from his
I'm
phone?
FaceTiming.
All right, you know what? Let's cut him out of the live. I'll just FaceTime him.
Jesus.
Get out of the other screen, Adrian.
And wake up.
Hello, Roman. Hello, Anna. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
You're
Everybody,
doing great.
Adrian. Apparently, he's not feeling the technology that we decided to use, so he decided to good old voice now. Adrian, again, I'm going to ask you your thoughts on the challenge overall.
Well, it's very sunny here in Miami, about 78 degrees. The wind factor of, hold on, somebody's calling me. Well, the challenge was challenging from the get, right? You brought on these guys, didn't know essentially where this was going to go. We were very, very inexperienced whole process of bringing people in and then firing them like the apprentice. That was brutal. But I think overall, it brought upon new friends, brought along new colleagues, and a stronger sales force. And I think this is just the beginning, and I think it was a great success. And congratulations, obviously, to Kevin. I already had a talk with him. Congratulations to Peter and Dave, and for everybody else who, put their best foot forward in this challenge.
And one of the things that me and Adrian discussed earlier, before we ultimately announced the winner and made the decision in keeping all three guys on board is, there's going to be a few changes. We're going to move some roles around because Adrian made a very good point today. He said, what makes a good leader is somebody that can recognize strengths and weaknesses in his human resources and to be able to appropriate tasks accordingly in order to have them succeed the most. And that's really what it comes down to. Not everybody is the same. It's not a cookie cutter position. Every single person is different. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. And in a short 3 months time, myself, Anna, Adrian, some of the other sales staff, we were quickly able to recognize the strength and the weaknesses of all guys. And we're going to be there to help them with their weaknesses, and we're going to be there to exploit their strengths. And that's really what it comes down to. So enough about the Gray Market Challenge. Now that we announced the winner, this whole live is really about giving you guys an update of what we've achieved in 2022 as a company. Again, when Gray Market Season Episode 1 started, the idea was just to show you how our company is going to grow with the hopes that you guys would stick around and watch our journey. And it's been a hell of a journey, and the journey continues. It doesn't stop. But before we do that, I would like to announce a few awards. Awards for 2022. Number 1 was Best Purchase of the Year. And Adrian, Ian, you have the assets for that, right? So let's put on the screen the 𝗵𝗕𝗄𝗯 set and the Piaget Piece Unique. And we sold quite a few watches, a lot of impressive watches, a lot of rare watches, a lot of expensive watches. But I think that ultimately what it came down to is pieces that we could probably never replace. And I think the Best Purchase of the Year award actually goes to me because I bought both of those watches. And it was a toss-up between the rare 𝗵𝗕𝗄𝗯 set and the Piaget watch that started it all for 𝗵𝗕𝗄𝗯 when he created, I believe it was 10 or 12 of those for Piaget to kickstart his career. He got his first $500,000 from Piaget, and that's what kind of kickstarted his career. Would you agree with that, Adrian? With that choice? Would you just go with the Piaget or the Journe set?
We'll go with the Journe set. Bro.
Same.
And
Same.
yeah, I mean, I guess I'm more of I get nostalgic because that Piaget watch does mean a lot for Journe. Let's talk about the worst purchases of the year. And from what I gather from both Anna and Adrian, that award also goes to me.
Yep.
Let's talk about first. Let's put up the Harry Winston set, Ian. Got that? So the Harry Winston set, I have an excuse.
So wait, the Harry Winston set he bought for how much? $25,000.
$25,000.
And it probably retails for 20. So
5.
a Harry Winston, no, like 20.
All right. So
Harry Winston for over retail is not happening this day.
So Roman is a bit of an impulse buyer when it comes to things, and Roman sometimes doesn't put on his glasses, doesn't read through the small print. And I bought this super duper limited edition Harry Winston set for $25,000. It came in, I was so happy, and then Anna goes, "What is this?" And then Adrian just goes, "It's another Roman buy." But there was a runner-up to that, and that was what, Anna?
The Ulysse.
No, there were 2.
The
first was the Patek's.
That's right.
So the Patek 4961.
Mm-hmm.
I have an excuse. I do have an excuse and I don't have an excuse. So I bought a Patek 4961, which is a lady's Aquanaut with a diamond bezel. It was a white one, I believe. And that's an older version, where the newer, bigger version is the 5067.
Much larger.
Much larger, much more
Case
sellable.
size.
Of course, I thought I was buying the 5067. The little guy comes in and it's like this big.
It's like this big.
What is this? I'm like, oh my God. I bought it on the chat impulsively. I thought it was the 5067. Obviously, I'm not going to back out. We're just going to eat the watch. Whatever loss we have to take, we'll have to take.
And we did.
And we did. And Anna said, you know what? Fair enough excuse, until
He did it again.
I did it again literally a month later. Same mistake. So there's no excuse for that one. And last but not least, I bought a Ulysse Nardin tourbillon, if we can put that up on the screen.
However, it was not a tourbillon.
Okay, so the executive Ulysse Nardin tourbillon versus the newer version of the Ulysse Nardin executive skeleton looks almost
Skeleton
X look almost identical. Again, Roman thought I was buying a tourbillon, and it was not.
Yeah,
Lost a little money on that one too.
Adrian
So which
we actually didn't lose money.
so which is the winner out of the 3?
Adrian,
Adrian is thinking about all the other Roman buys for the year.
I'm sure there are a lot more.
Yeah.
He's thinking about all the other Roman buys.
I would actually give the award to myself because it was the biggest loss on the books with RM.9 I mean, your stuff was pretty much, amateur.
That's true.
My stuff was actually a blatant mistake, where
Right.
your stuff, you were sort of the victim of the market. And
Exactly.
Adrian is referring to the RM.29 𝗲𝗂, the green one, the Richard Mille, which we bought when it topped out where?
It's the end result that matters.
Well, how much money did we lose on that? That much.
100,000.
So
Bunch
we
of
ended
thousands.
up losing close to 200,000 on the watch for what?
I win. That means I win.
It wasn't your fault, Adrian, though. It was the
The market shifted.
Right.
But for those of you guys that think that it's all peachy and that we always making money hand over foot, we do tend to lose money. And I think you're right. I think that 𝗲𝗂 was the biggest single loss in the company's history on a watch. So Adrian does win.
You're making me feel much better.
Funniest moment of the year. Can we put up the Chris's WhatsApp text? Do you have that?
I have it. I don't know if you can you show it?
I'm sure I can show it.
Okay, so
So Chris, we'll love Chris to death. We'll love Chris to death.
this one.
And Chris is a simple guy. So around the time everybody was getting sick and this and that, and here in this office we're so close that one gets sick, another one gets sick. Chris sends a WhatsApp text with, can you see that?
Yeah, you can see.
What does that say?
Damn, not again.
Chris says, damn, and I'm doing it in the best Chris accent that I can possibly do. Oh, damn, not again. He sends a picture of a COVID test, which is actually negative. And we call him up, bro, you okay? Is everything all right? He's like, yeah, I can't believe I got COVID again. He's like, can you read that test again? He's like, what? I was like, it says you're not pregnant. So it was actually a pretty funny moment. But I think there was a funnier moment, and that involves our boy Kyle. Now, we have a lot of clips from our office party, which by the way, there's a reason why we don't air that party. But at that moment, I believe at that party, so Kyle's not a big drinker. Let me start there. He's a health nut. He goes to the gym all the time. He can bench press a Buick. But with that said, Kyle is not a big drinker. And I found this out in Miami. We were at a trade show, and we were at a restaurant. We came to a bar, and I bought a round of shots. And Kyle's like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, Kyle, it's one shot. He's like, but look at me. I'm small. I'm like, yeah, it's a shot of tequila. Takes one shot of tequila, gets drunk instantly. We get to the office party at Golden Gates, and 30 minutes or 20 minutes into the party, he runs up to you, eyes like this. He goes, Roman, 3. I'm like, 3 what? You got third place? What? He's like, 3. I'm like, 3 what? He goes, I took 3 shots. And I'm like, oh shit. And it was at that point where Kyle was tossed off the stage. We have that clip? It was also
his bar mitzvah.
He was also bar mitzvahs and damn near circumcised at that party. Let's just say Kyle was the light of the party, and everybody had a blast watching him have a good time. And it was a good time, was it not, Kyle?
But also Kevin rolling off the stage.
Do we have that
Or-
clip? No, we don't have that one. Yeah, Kevin did a good recovery when he jumped
Yes.
up on stage to sing 50 Cents, I believe. Tripped, fell, did a triple roll on the stage, got back up with a microphone and started singing.
It's
That was actually
50
pretty good recovery. Do we have the Marco clip? All right. And then last but not least, I don't know, I think the funniest moment was when, I forget which episode it was, where Marco challenged Alex to play tennis. If you guys didn't see that episode, you have to watch the Marco warm-ups. That was something. Anyway, I'm going to get into achievements, right? Company achievements for the year, just to keep you guys sort of informed of what's been going on. I know you guys have been watching along, but I just wanted to sort of, I guess, sum it up, if you will. Number one, and both me and Adrian feel that the most valuable growth for any company is team growth, right? And that is the addition of new staff that fit in well. And now, after we've announced the challenge, we can obviously start with Kevin, Dave, and Peter as an addition to our sales force. But there were others. This year, we inherited or got Marco, right? And Marco has been, well, what does Anna say all the time? Well, number one, he argues with everyone and everything. Marco is the number one arguer in this company. But it's hard to argue with him because he's boy genius, and it's like
You don't argue with
you know we just decided that
But don't do it.
we just don't. Yeah, thank you, Adrian. We don't argue with Marco, but Marco has also brought a most ridiculous work ethic because he wears 3 hats. He's a content creator. He has also made a very, very smooth transition into Adrian's team on the buying end, and he's also part of the sales team. And this kid works 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, no days off. His work ethic is tremendous. He's shown numerous times how much he cares about the place, the company, and the 3 jobs that he does. So he was definitely a humongous addition to our team. Davis is a guy that you see behind the scenes, right? All those pretty pictures that you see on a multitude of Instagram accounts, be it mine and as Adrian's, the companies, and everybody else. He is the man behind that camera. He's the one that puts forth those wonderful, beautiful pictures and images that you guys see. He's also the guy responsible for taking candid photos of that you see posted across social media platforms as well. And he's responsible for taking the wrinkles out of my forehead sometimes when I frown too much. Thank you for that, Davis.
He offered that to me. I said no.
Really?
No.
I like when he photoshops my forehead. I look at least 10
It
years
looks
younger.
weird.
Of course, we have Christian. Christian worked for us part-time while he was in school. He finished school, and we offered him a full-time position right away. He's our graphic designer. A lot of the graphics you see on the web, even the cover photos for all the thumbnails for all the YouTube videos, some of the unboxings and things like that, and some of the cool graphics you guys see.
And the LB logo.
And the LB logo. He designed the new LB logo that's back there, which is now going to go into merchandise, and it's been everywhere. We're finally finalizing cool logo. We changed the logo that we've had for, I don't know, 18 years, I think, finally. And he rebranded that whole thing. So he was definitely a great addition.
I think we should change it though, since Alex got the tattoo.
Yeah, and Alex, since Alex got that tattooed on his wrist, the first thing I said, hey, let's tweak it a little bit. Obviously, let's talk about social media department, Nina, and very recently, 𝗬𝗍. Nina is, what do we call her, Adrian?
Beast?
Nina?
Yes.
She's a gangster. What else?
Well, he calls a gangster. We call her a beast. Somebody that cares to a fault, down to tears sometimes when something doesn't work out. She's done a tremendous job on social media for the company, myself, and everybody else around her. Her enthusiasm and her willing to make things better almost hourly it really drives everyone else to do better that handles their social media accounts. Both 𝗬𝗍 and her. 𝗬𝗍 came in. He introduced TikTok, which has now been growing pretty steadily. Speaking of which, I'm going to talk about social growth. I'm going to bring Avi in here, our CMO. You guys have seen him. I want to talk about social growth.
Okay.
I'm going to also manage while we are talking.
All right.
Just so for everybody that's currently chatting in there, everybody won, but Kevin won the Rolex because you can't go back.
Oh, that's right. It's alive. Oh, yeah. So a quick update for you guys that tune in later. All 3 challenges are staying here. The ultimate winner of the Rolex was Kevin. But let's talk about social growth. This is something that's been huge this year for us. We've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, this year has been remarkable as far as growth for YouTube, for social, Instagram. TikTok was a new platform for us. It really, everything has gone crazy. Obviously, thank you to all the supporters and all the fans, everybody that's tuning in. Just to give you a couple of numbers, in the last month, the 𝗔𝗲 𝗬𝗢 YouTube channel has grown by 118,000%. That's 118,000. The Roman Sharf channel in the last 30 days has grown by 18,000%. Year over year, 𝗔𝗲 𝗬𝗢 is at about 17,000. Roman Sharf is at about 8,000%. These are huge, huge numbers. Obviously, a lot of it has to do with our short strategy, our videos, and you guys tuning in. As far as TikTok, it's a new platform for us, and we just got on it to kind of mess around, see what's going on out there. And Roman Sharf's, TikTok, if you're not subscribed, make sure to go to TikTok at Roman Sharf, has grown to 40,000 subscribers or followers or fans, whatever they call it these days, in a matter of about 60 days. The 𝗔𝗲 𝗬𝗢 is, I think it's close to 30,000 fans. We're putting out different content on both those channels, so it depends on what you're interested in. More horology stuff, you're going to go to 𝗔𝗲 𝗬𝗢. More candid, more personal stuff, you're going to go to Roman Sharf. And that's valid for everything, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram or TikTok. And 2023, obviously, our goal is to grow that even more. We'll get into that with predictions and goals?
So if we from social growth, which is extremely important, social is a humongous part of our business. And I don't even want to say our business. I think it's the trends in the market. I feel that are changing. I feel like e-commerce, as we know it, is slowly but surely kind of like going down, and social platforms are going up. For all you guys that have purchased watches from us, how many of you guys have came to us via a DM?
Oh,
Or how many of you guys have emailed us or clicked the link because you were watching a YouTube video? It's almost becoming like a website is becoming that window, that a catalog that people shop, but all interactions nowadays are so personal because it's a question of sending a quick DM, clicking a certain button, and so on and so forth. And that brings me into sales numbers. Now, sales numbers are something that we were on track to. Last year, you guys know we finished with 126 million. When we started the show, we were at 100 million a year. Then we jumped to 126 million in sales per year. And this year, we were on track to do roughly about 144 million this year, which would have been a hell of an increase by any standard. Problem is less than halfway through the year, we get hit with a market that's slowing down, with a market that then corrected, and now we're hit with a slower market, a much slower market than a year ago. In fact, probably, Adrian, if I had to ask you in terms of percentage, and I'm not saying specific watches, specific brands, but overall market, how much do you think it has slowed down percentage-wise?
Well, it's hard to say an actual number based on trading volume, but it's very simple to say if you look at even the top 10 best-selling watches that literally have price.
But that's merchandise price. I'm strictly asking about the market slowdown. Like, let's say if the market was at 100% a year ago, where would it be today in terms of speed?
Oh, I mean, it's probably 60, 65%.
Exactly. But with that said, we still managed to close the year, and I looked at the numbers as soon as I got back to the office because I was out the last week of January. We still ended up closing at 136 million, which is a little less than a 10% growth, considering that, half the year was at half the speed or 65% of the speed than the beginning of the year. I think we've done a tremendous job. And that's your real numbers. 136 million is where we finished this year. A lot of it due to every single individual here. All the new people that I mentioned and existing people all had something to do with this, regardless of whether they sell watches, take pictures, or make videos. I want to talk about new products. Some of the new products that we introduced as a company. And again, I am going to pass over the baton to Avi, and we're going to start talking about, obviously, the Gray Market Challenge, because that was his baby. He came up with this idea. I want to know how and what made you think it was actually going to work and people actually going to show up.
I actually didn't think that many people were going to show up at all. But
148
entries, like that's
It's insane.
I thought it might be the best way to bring on people that really want to be here, rather than just putting out an ad like we typically use Indeed or what was the other one that we use, like Career or something.
There's a few websites.
There's a bunch of different ones. I figured, why don't we try to
True,
do it?
was it OnlyFans we used?
OnlyFans. Yeah, that's one of our. I figured it might be best.
Well, I think Kevin applied from OnlyFans.
Yes, Kevin actually came from OnlyFans. He was a good addition to the team. It really made sense to see like who wants to actually be here, who wants to be a part of this. So many people are interested in what we do and the whole industry as a whole.
I mean, I get that email, DM, text like every 3 times, 5 times a day. I want to come work.
No girls.
There was a thing where Warren Buffett came to like his mentor and said, I want to work, for you for free. I want to learn everything that you're teaching. And the mentor, I can't remember his name, said, your price is too high, because even for free, like you would be paying for this sort of like education. That's what these, 3, 4, now 3 guys got here. They got an education that would cost years and years, let's say 20 years of experience, millions of dollars in purchasing power, and probably millions of dollars in losses, only to learn what we've been able to teach them in 90 days. So to get people that are really committed, that's probably the only way. And I think going forward, that's probably the only way we're going to hire for any position, whether it's social media, whether it's logistics. We should just have a challenge for, imagine logistics, like who can pack the box faster. we'll ship out some alligator straps and see who has a problem with it. I really think that the Gray Market Challenge came out to a success. Whether, obviously I had two parts of it. Like I wanted the content, but we wanted good salespeople. We got both. We got great content and we got great salespeople and great, team members that are now really a part of the Luxury Bazaar family. Everything else that we've done, we could talk about. So if you're not aware, we've launched the Gray Market magazine. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the
Everything's
next
Gray
thing I
Market.
want. Before you go into that, I just to add on to the Gray Market Challenge specifically. I think the biggest win from the people that came in through that Gray Market Challenge is that these are people that have followed our journey along the way. These are people that actually, I feel like it was beneficial to the contestants because they already got a glimpse of what they're going to get.
If you think about it, like they deserve everything that they've gotten. I mean, who just gives up everything they have going on in life, drops it all, and comes and works at a company where you're not even sure if you're going to have a career?
I did that 17 years ago.
Yes, but you had a guarantee that
Yeah,
whether
they're already doing it part-time.
whether you're going to succeed or fail, it's up to you. They don't have that. Whether they succeed or fail was really up to you.
That is true.
So like this was like, hey, you come to your wife, you come to your significant other, and you're like, I'm going to quit my job. We're not going to have an income for a little while, and I'm going to try this. Like,
And in 3 months, I may get a job.
correct. Like possibly.
And it's a job that only will pay as much as I sell.
Correct. I mean,
I
that's
guys told you this before. Our salespeople get $500 a week base salary. That's it. Everything else is commission. Let's talk about the Gray Market magazine, which is something new that you came up with. Oh, look, you might.
there you go. I guess a lot of people
I
are
guess
saying
nobody heard
audio,
you.
audio sucks. Is this better? Yeah, cool. Gray Market Magazine is our attempt at creating a portal for watch enthusiasts, watch rookies, watch amateurs, anything from first timer to a long time collector,
Seasoned collector.
a seasoned collector, for you to get entertaining, educational, informational content, just at your fingertips. Obviously, there are already a couple of platforms that do this, but I feel that they're more targeted towards like the higher end, or they're slaves to brands that they're associated with. We're trying to be that, gray market aspect of it. So obviously we have great writers on staff that are putting out content on a daily basis. If you don't currently subscribe, go to luxurybazaar.com/gray-market. Subscribe and you'll get emails when we release new content. Sorry, there's playback here. Here, let me, hold on. Oh, it's all.
Is that like 30 seconds behind? Is that why?
It might be.
Yeah.
You're just going to choose captions and stuff. So we're putting together additional content that's not currently available via our YouTube or our social. This is much more in-depth content. This is research content. For example, this is one simple example. How many links does a Rolex have? Well, we have an article all about that. Every single model, every single, line, and how many links they typically have. What's a GMT? What's the functionality? What's a tourbillon for? These are questions that you typically have, and we are creating a source to find that with ease, and obviously with entertainment as well.
I mean, I think the Gray Market magazine, it takes me back to the days when I started, before you had social media, before you had Facebooks and Instagrams and YouTube channels and so on and so forth. It takes me back to the time of, we had the forum called Time Zone and The Purist. But a lot of those forums, as you said, I don't want to say sold out. I'm going to say instead succeeded to be able to pick up sponsorships from major brands and so on and so forth. And with that, comes with the territory. A lot of your content becomes biased. It's geared towards the sponsors and so on and so forth. And I can't blame them. It's, when you watch a TV show, whoever paid for the commercial is the content they're going to run. For us, the idea is to take it back to the old school. Not everybody wants to sit through a YouTube video or watch a video explaining the functionality. Sometimes people just want to read it. But Avi decided to take all of that, put it into one, and it created a space within our website, sort of like good old Time Zone and good old Purist or Watch Pro. I forget what the other old one, forum, because that's what it was. It was forums, and this is basically a modern take on a forum, a watch forum. Let's talk about the Sell app, right? We've been extremely successful in purchasing, or I shouldn't say purchasing, to allow clients to have a seamless place to be able to come in, sell their watch, and make it as easy as possible in terms of logistically for labels, legally from agreements and so on and so forth. And that app has evolved somewhat throughout the year, but that was another thing that we'll launch this year, the Sell app.
So the Sell app is our version of what's probably, the most innovative, almost, revolutionary technology in procurement of luxury watches. So, I'm making it sound really, really good, but
Sounds fancy.
yeah, it sounds really
Very
fancy. It's not. Ultimately, it allows you to have a conversation with your buyer. It allows you to share information with your buyer directly, communicate with the buyer directly, print out labels, soon you're going to be able to, and this leads to one of our other accomplishments this year, you're going to be able to insure your watch through there. You're going to be able to loan against your watch through that app. But right now, it's way better than the typical method that you're currently used to selling your watch, which is, you either walk into a store or you go to Google, type in sell my watch, get to a website, fill out a form, and sit there and wait for somebody to respond to you. Hopefully, they're going to call you or they're going to email you. This is all tech first, SMS based, email based. It's every sort of communication method that you prefer. That's what it does. And really, we're just growing it and making it better every day.
So speaking of insurance and things of that nature, you guys know we partnered up with Wax Insurance, and what Avi's talking about is the things that we already do sort of on a manual basis. We're just working on technology to seamlessly integrate that into your purchase process, your sale process. And again, we did a video about Wax, and I'll just read it real quick. Is me and Avi got together one day. Avi comes in, he's like, I have an idea. Why don't we get into people? What's the number one question that people ask you all the time? What are some of the questions that are outside of our wheelhouse? And I'm like, well, people always ask me whether to insure my watch. Can I borrow money against my watch? Or can I store my watch somewhere? And we sat there, we did 2 workshops internally, him, me, Vlad, Anna, Adrian sit in on them. And then we literally got a phone call out of the blue from Wax saying, oh, guys, we have this product. And I'm like, dude, did you steal my notes? Of course, they were already 2-3 years into it. And right now this is live. We refer people to Wax all the time, those that ask for insurance and those that want to, get a loan on their watches and things of that nature as well as storage. But I think the next version of the Sell By app is going to integrate that automatically as well. And of course, we also launched a new website this year, which was, I wouldn't call it a humongous accomplishment. It was something that we needed.
Just a very lengthy one.
Yeah, it was a very lengthy one. We needed to upgrade from Magento 1 to Magento 2. Not to bore you with a lot of details, but this is something that we needed to upgrade. And that actually kicked off a brand new project right off the bat. So in a few months, you guys are going to see even a newer, more robust, faster website, maybe even more user-friendly than this one. So that's a project that created yet another project. But I want to talk about goals, right? And we sat down, and actually yesterday we spoke about it. I talked to Adrian about it. I talked to Anna about it. And, there's social growth, YouTube-specific growth, there's sales growth, and there's team growth, right? And Adrian, I'm going to start with team growth. What did you tell me this morning? And can you hear him well when he turn him up? Adrian, what did you tell me this morning as far as team growth specific to sales?
Well, specifically, if we could just multiply what we did 5x.
No, you literally told me this morning that you want how many salespeople?
So yeah, multiply by, so essentially 20 to 25 within the next 2 to 3 years, I think is very doable. And with that being said, obviously that includes extensions into not only our office building in Pennsylvania, but to other markets via possibly down here in sunny Florida.
Are you coming back, bro?
Probably not.
And then you also mentioned you want to have now 5 buyers.
Absolutely, yeah. So again, and this is maybe a topic that we'll cover at a later date, but the sales team and Salesforce, I think, is a direct product of our marketing efforts and social media, where we bring forward the product and obviously have to be as competitive as possible. But the most fragmented part of our business, and it's not really something that we can streamline exactly, is the procurement side of things, whereas it tends to be relationship-based and knowledge-based. You can't really utilize any type of software to make a offer on something. So my idea is to expand that buying force so we can allow our clients the best means to sell their product.
Funny you should say that, because when it comes to purchasing, there are a multitude of companies out there that have tried the approach of valuing a watch, and they all failed miserably because all they've done is went out onto other websites, seen existing listings, sold listings, auction results, things that are, combine them all, average them out. This is not a task. This is not a software that could ever be created for one simple reason, because it requires human experience. It requires to have your finger on the pulse of the market as it stands by the hour or by the day. And which is why Adrian is mentioning the fact that he wants to slowly but surely groom individuals to become those buyers under his wing. I think that Marco did a phenomenal job in a short amount of time.
You know, I'm not really sure. I'm not really confident that in such a short period of time, I could possibly take anybody on this planet and groom him to be that quick. He's just, you know, very intelligent, comes from a finance background. He's a watch he's about as passionate about watches as anybody I've ever seen from, you know, from the brand aspect.
More than Kevin?
Well, in a different way. Type of pack, but his vast knowledge, you can't share. It's not even something you're born with. It's just something that you adapt over time. So again, if I can find another 5 Marcos, we're in really, really, really good place.
I mean, let's not forget the fact that, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Marco has a photographic memory. When Marco reads an article on a watch once, he remembers it. It's insane, like verbatim. So boy genius. Anyway, let's talk about sales growth. Now, we had a discussion, and I'm going to ask Anna. So here's my take on things. We had a hiccup in the market, right? The market is more or less has now stabilized. With the marketing efforts we're putting forth, with the growth of the team, would I be out of line if I said, okay, my goal for this year was to do 144 million? Would I be out of line to set a goal for next year? And this is both to you and Adrian, but would I be out of line to say, look, okay, next year I wanted to meet the 144 million, which we came close, and at the same token grow another 10%, which would put me roughly at about well, not roughly, which would put me at exactly $150 million in total sales next year.
I'm all for it. I think we can do it.
Adrian, 159 million next year, considering the market.
Our numbers of 136 million is a direct correlation between the efforts that we put in here. So, you know, if you take 𝗕𝗏𝗄𝗎 side, you utilize any other company and say, hey, I made 10 this year, I want to make 15. Well, that's not it. That's not even so much of an effort of the sales team as much as it is capital requirements. So, you know, in our business, it's a very simple formula where the more, you know, capital expenditure we have to buy product, the more essentially we'll sell, and therefore that's where we need to expand the sales force.
I knew he was.
To answer your question.
I knew he was going to ask for more money. I knew it.
And to answer your question, we can absolutely get there. We can absolutely get to the, you know, we want to hit that 300 million mark. I think that's pretty much what we're geared towards. Again, that's 2x of the revenue that we're doing. So it's not really something I foresee.
Well, it's actually going to be 3x because we started at 100.
Well, I'm talking about from this year.
I got you. I got you.
But it's certainly possible, and we will get there.
Let's talk about social growth, and let's start with YouTube growth. Avi.
So predictions or goals?
Goals.
So my goal, and I made this public in the Gray Market group. My goal for YouTube growth for 2023, I wanted to have the Roman Sharf channel be at 500,000 subscribers. I want the Luxury Bazaar channel to be at 100,000 subscribers. Now, the Luxury Bazaar channel is currently at 20,000. That's 5x.
More, it's already 21 and change.
Yeah, so 5x there. Whereas for you, that's really only about 2x. We're close to 200,000. Well, say 2.5x. I want to be at 500,000 by this time next year. So let's say next time we're doing a sort of episode, hopefully we'll be at 500,000, which is it's not an obscene goal. I mean, it's doable, it's reachable.
Well, guys, just so you understand, over the last 60 days or so, we've been growing at about 1,000 subscribers a day.
Yeah.
Right. And thank you to all of you. And those of you that are watching this live and not subscribed, hit the button. Right. And based on that math, which should be over 500,000. So Avi's not setting outrageous goals, but Avi's also not setting goals just to say, oh, I want to have 500,000. We're actually doing a lot of stuff about it.
We are. Yeah, we have. I mean, our strategy for the end of 2022 is continuing into 2023, but we're, Grant Cardoning it. We're like 10xing this shit. We really want to do whatever we're doing now.
Cardoning it.
He's become like a verb.
Yeah, right.
We're just really going to double down on everything that actually works. And we're going to do more of it. So we have other series in the works. We have other content types in the works. And we have other additions to the team that are going to be necessary in order to make all this happen.
So you need more money too. Great. I don't know why I asked. Let's talk about social growth in general.
I mean, tell us about, your goals for.
I mean, look, what the, oh, Adrian wants a blue check mark. Anna wants a blue check mark. Overall, the overall strategy is that because the more people we have here that have a social media presence, because right now, look through Instagram accounts, Luxury Bazaar, Roman, Anna, Adrian, every single salesperson. We're talking about a dozen social media accounts. And our goal is, and we started this late as of probably last 2 months of the year, is to come up with a type of strategy where if somebody's following my account, they also going to want to follow everyone else here. We're trying to create it to where we're not posting the same thing over and over across 12 different accounts so that it becomes entertaining for you to watch Kevin's account, my account, or even Kyle's account, right? And the reason for that is because we're realizing that if you're just going to take the same thing and post it everywhere, what's the use of a user following someone along their journey? Which is why I even told the new guys, I said, guys, you have such an interesting journey that you're going through with this challenge. I said, document that journey, right? Not just about posting watches, not just about posting stuff for sale, which it is a lot of the time, especially for salespeople.
It's personality, though.
It's the personality too. So the goal is for everyone that is on a social media platform in sales and anywhere else is to show themselves first and foremost.
Absolutely.
And obviously product second, because this is what we do. For me personally, I am happy with my slow, painful growth on Instagram, which is really, really hard because of all the algorithms. Used to be like, you can get followers like this. Now you have to fight for every single follower. So I just hope that I continue, with the help of the social media department and everybody else here, put out the type of content that's going to keep you guys engaged. And for those of you that DM me and say, am I really talking to Roman? Is this really Roman? And for those of you who see me responding to comments, yes, it is really Roman talking to you via DMs. It takes me at this point probably a good hour to sometimes 2 hours per day to answer every single one of your DMs. And yes, it is me answering you guys. We do use a software to do it, but it's actually me answering my own DMs. As of we're doing this live, I am probably sitting on roughly 300 DMs unanswered, and they will be answered by the end of the day, maybe by midnight today. So that's it for social growth. I wanted to get into, last but not least, some predictions, and I wanted to take some of your questions on a live because I know a lot of you guys have put up a bunch of questions. I do want to get to those. How long has it been so far, guys?
About an hour.
All right, so let's give it. Let's
step away.
Let me go into Adrian. Models that will become or continue to become hits.
I mean, Rolex goes without saying. I mean, we're already a couple of days into 2023, and I just have pretty much assessed, like, there's been a small retail price increase with Rolex, and although it's not like enough to really move the needle, but what it does is it stirs emotion in people and ultimately brings demand. So I think Rolex is going to have a pretty decent year. I mean, you see all these articles of people posting that the Rolex wait list line is like 20 times longer than Patek or AP or anything like that, which naturally it would be considering they make 1 million units a year. But yeah, I see a strong year for Rolex. AP, it remains to be seen. I think they need to just cut making these Royal Oaks and a different dial color, different metal. There's way too many out there. So I think if they shorten that supply, AP will do well. I'm seeing a huge increase in demand for Patek. Holy smokes. Like, I'm getting people offering me, and I'm getting people wanting to buy them like left and right. And same thing with RM.
Models that will lose steam, Adrian.
Models that will lose steam. That's a tough one. I can't make that prediction. That's just an overall market thing, and sometimes it's just a random sequence of events. You'll see celebrities. A lot of the time, it's directly correlated to what celebrities are really wearing, because a lot of social media based watch content is circled around celebrities and what they're wearing. So we'll really see what that is. Right, I can't predict that. I foresee Daytona as being really strong. I'm seeing a lot of people like give demand for precious metal Daytonas. Platinum Daytonas are really hot again. I said Patek and RM, if they cut down supply on some of their models that they oversupply.
Give me some brands that you think are going to become hits this year, or bigger hits, I should say.
If I can make those predictions, I would be just down the street scratching lottery tickets. But
well, I'll give you that one.
I mentioned before, and a lot of people, like I mentioned before, and a lot of people are hopefully following suit, is that 2023 is the year of the sweats with the dress watch. That being said, I think Lange is going to have a strong year. I really foresee that. I mean, I still think there's so much value in their product.
I would say I would add to that independence, because people are starting to come back to
independence. Forgive me for interrupting. Independence is one of those things like we've spoken about before, where that's going to take time. Maybe you'll see a slight uptick in demand for them, but for real demand to really take over the market is going to take years. Because like I said, it's how quickly the brands can relay their information about how special their watches are to the client, where the client doesn't have to ask, oh my God, what this is. Like I mentioned before, people walk into AP, buy any complication without really caring what the complication is, because they want the product. So that's going to take time.
I think that what you're going to see is now that you've seen a graceful fall of the hype stuff, right? 20-30% decrease, all while still all the hype stuff is still trading at 2x, some at 3x, i.e. your RMs, your hot APs, your Richard Milles, your Patek's, the Nautiluses, right? I think people are also going to come back to the basics and realize that it's not just about the hype. And I've always said there's nothing wrong with hype, right? If you buy something because it's a hype model, absolutely nothing wrong with it, just like a hype car or clothing, right? But people are also gonna, sort of take the blinders off. We're going into a buyer's market, a market where a customer doesn't feel like they're in a rush. They need to hurry up and grab this before the next guy does it. Now it gives them a little bit of time to sit down and actually, hey, what am I actually getting? Which is why we're seeing a big increase in sales of dressier Pateks, value Pateks, older annual calendars, perpetual calendars, and things of that nature. Longest, as you mentioned. We're also seeing an uptick in independence, and the reason for that is because people are now saying, well, wait a minute, this watch does what? It's not just an octagon bezel. It's not just a steel Patek on a bracelet. It's not a carbon Richard Mille. This watch does what, right? People are starting to open up their eyes there because they actually have time to do so now. It's not a market where, you're standing in line and there's 12 guys behind you that want to buy the same exact watch and you got to make a decision in a split second. And I think that I should ask Anna this, and this is based on what you're seeing, or let's what you saw in the last quarter of this year, because it's a good indicator where the market is going to be. From your existing clientele, about 90% of your business is your existing clients. What are you seeing from them? What are you seeing them requesting right now?
Pateks, Rolex, yes, Rolex, because you can get them at a much better deal right now. So AP, also Royal Oaks, because you can get them. There's so many of them. You can get a steal.
So I mean, it's still the popular brands are still the popular brands, and I guess the requests are based either on the fluctuation of price downwards, where they've come down to earth.
So the person that wanted to get that Royal Oak, now he can actually get it at a reasonable price.
For 30% less, so around retail, right. Yeah, it makes sense. 30 seconds overall market prediction, Adrian. Prices growing, declining, availability.
And, we mentioned this before, especially just looking at I think the next year is pretty much a mirror of the last quarter that we had in 2022. I don't think much is going to change or much has changed. I mean, you're hearing different economic things that are going on. Some people are saying Fed's going to cut rates at some point, so that will definitely be a big thing. I think moving forward within the next year, the market is going to be up or down from 10 to 15% from where it is now. It's not going to be so much a straight line. I still think it's going to be a bumpy road in terms of volatility, but I think the worst is over in terms of price depreciation and lack of demand like it was before. So I think, like I've mentioned, I've used this term over and over again. We're in a healthy market equilibrium where the supply and overall demand for watches basically is very fair in regards to pricing. The pricing is very fair based on supply and demand for the product.
Your prediction,
I think I totally agree with Adrian.
I'm glad you guys are on the same page. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna tell you that I think you guys are gonna be pleasantly surprised post first quarter of this year, and I think you're going to see a hype that is similar that started after the first 2 months of COVID.
Okay.
You're
Do
gonna-
we have this on tape?
I think you have this on tape. You heard it on record from me. I think you're going to see people waking up the minute people realize that the market has stabilized, as Adrian said, which it has now, plus minus 10, 15%, which is normal. I think you still have a lot of money out there that people are willing to park somewhere. And finally, and I talk about this all the time. I tell you guys have watched me for years, and I preach the same thing. Watches are not an investment, they're an expensive toy. But it's not like anybody has proved me wrong. I think the landscape has changed in the market so much that it's gotten to a point where people believe that this is a real index, this is a real market. There are people out there looking to create funds out of watches just like this they've done out of art and other collectibles and things of that nature. And because of that simple fact and the fact that there was so much money made or printed over the last 2 years, there's still a lot of cash sitting out there that people are looking to park somewhere. If, you know, due to high rates, real estate may not be the best option. Stock market also may not be the best option. But so I think that you're going to see a surprising jump in the first quarter of this year towards the end of it. And you're going to see, you may not see price levels on certain models go to the extent that they did, let's say, in the peak of the market, like, you know, platinum Daytonas for $200,000.
Right.
But what I think you will see is that whatever is going to be in demand, be it dress watches, be it Longas, be it Independents, be it the dress Patek's, I think you're going to start seeing similar, pretty crazy price levels about midway through this year. And that's my prediction.
Okay. Hope it comes true.
Because again, we're in the buyer's market, and that's just the bottom line.
It's definitely.
What are we
buyer's
doing right
market.
now? We're buying
Yep.
like crazy. We're trying to buy as much as we can, or as much as we can afford, I should say.
Right.
Because I think you're going to see that jump once again, and I think that's what's going to help us achieve those numbers and then some at the end of the year. I want to take some questions. How do I do that, Avi? Oh, here comes an iPad.
So just click on the one that you're actually responding to.
Okay, I'm going to need glasses for this one. Yeah, I got it. Here we go. Hold on.
Yes, click it.
The question of the day. Portnoy's video, when is it going to be released? Let me just get this on record for everybody that's been out there hating and making these nasty comments and talking about the fact that we're biased and we got paid. Let me break it down exactly how it happened. We were sitting in Adrian's office. Avi runs in and says, hey, look at this Portnoy thing, and plays the video where Portnoy is defending his watch. Me and Adrian start to discuss it. Nina happened to be in the room. She records a reel. She posts it on Instagram, and that's when all hell breaks loose, right? Everybody starts going back and forth, and so on and so forth. Avi says, let's make a video. Oh, sorry. Adrian says, let's order the watch. We order the watch. We pay $2,400 plus shipping or whatever it was. The watch comes in. We had our guy Peter dissect the watch. We made a video. We priced out every single part, and we're ready to put that video out. Avi comes to me and says, Roman, why don't you reach out to Dave? And the reason he told me that is because Dave commented on the reel that we posted saying, at least what you guys are saying is fair. I.e., we didn't call him a scam artist or something like that. And I was like, why don't you just ask him if he would do this video with you? He's in Florida. We're going down to Florida to do a piece of content with a friend collector of mine that actually launches next Wednesday for Gray Market Episode 1, Season 5, where we went to that $35 million mansion. He's the guy's a collector. We're looking at his collection and showing you a house, producer Michael style, which is another story. But long story short, I'll go, Avi, he's like, it's not going to come show up and meet me, dude. He's Dave Portnoy. Like, he's not even going to respond to me. He said, what do you have to lose? Send him a message, guys. Yeah, sure. I'm available. I actually asked my friend who built the house that we did it. It's like, would you mind if I did this video with Dave in your house as well while we're doing our video? He said, sure, no problem. I didn't know if he was going to show up till the last minute. Lo and behold, he showed up. So what do? We scrapped the original video that we were going to launch, and we're going to launch the Portnoy video this Friday. You guys can see it. But again, this isn't people. I feel like people, all the keyboard warriors are expecting us to shit on the watch and shit on Dave and this, that, and the other. It was a nice podcast that I think you guys will enjoy. You will get our opinion on the actual watch. We'll show you how we took the watch apart. But you get two sides of the story, one from us and one from Dave. And the video that we're launching this Friday, This is the first time we met this guy. And anybody out there saying, oh, now you're going to be completely biased. I don't care who you are, what you do for a living. If a guy like Dave Portnoy, whose financial achievements as well as social achievements and exposure achievements reaches out to you and offers you to do a video with them, I know you guys would jump at the opportunity, and that's exactly what we did. So don't judge, don't say anything until you watch the video.
Or the petty king will come for you.
Or the petty king will come for you, as Adrian just said. All right. Carlos, super chat. Watching your content has made me recite reference numbers. Hold on. Reference numbers just by seeing a watch. Great show. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. Let's see. Where's all the other messages? Why am I not seeing this?
Just put them on the screen.
I got it. Here's one for you from Joe Fallon. Are Hublot dead in the water, or will the brand turn around? I don't know what gave people the idea that Hublot is dead and Hublot is not selling. Just because it's popular to shit on Hublot on
By
Instagram
particular person?
or YouTube or by my brother from another mother, Nico, doesn't mean the brand is shit or the brand doesn't sell. We sell a lot of Hublot. Ask Anna how many Hublots
I love
she sells.
Hublot. I sell
Anna
a lot
loves
of Hublot.
Hublot, and they sell well. You know, in terms of holding value and things of that nature,
It
it's no
doesn't hold
secret.
value, but
Again,
the
it doesn't hold
fans-
value like
right.
50 other brands that are out there. And even if you look at the big brands, you know, the popular ones like AP or Patek, not all Pateks hold value. Not all Hublot, I'm sorry, not all Audemars hold value, right? Some Hublots do hold value. Look at the Takashi Hublot. It still sells over list, right? So Hublot, if you like Hublot, don't be embarrassed to put on a Hublot. Buy what you like. I guess the only advice I would give for those that are looking to pick up a Hublot is buy it on the secondary market.
Right.
Save the money.
Get
Don't go into a boutique
get a
and pay
good deal
full.
and you'll be
Get a good deal. Ivy, do you want to throw them up on the screen for me?
This is for the contestants mostly, but
What has been the most challenging aspect of working at Luxury Bazaar, and what is something that we, the audience, don't necessarily see on camera, the aristocrat? Which one of you guys want to take that one? Dave? So the question again was, what has been the most challenging aspect of working at Luxury Bazaar, and what is something that we, the audience, don't necessarily see on camera? Somebody give this man a microphone.
The blue. Yeah, it's blue.
Why? Oh, I see it. There we go.
Hey guys. So probably the most challenging part would be, you know, trying to like manage your expectations early on with the challenge. You know, we were basically starting this, you know, without much, you know, I wouldn't say guidance, but we didn't know exactly where we were going to be at the end. So that was definitely challenging. You know, it was tough to kind of get over that hurdle when things weren't going the way you wanted to, and then you know, flip it around and
That's
see
what
it.
happened to you halfway through, where you were down and out, basically. You were borderline 1 foot out the door yourself and from us, and that's, so I know exactly that moment, because that's the moment you walked in my office, and I'm glad you did, and that's why you're still here, and that's why you're going to succeed here.
To tell you the truth, when I told this to Anna at the Christmas party, but when Anna told me, she said, "I'm not a grinder," in that video that you guys did when they were, you know, we were on the chopping block, that's what I was like, well, no, I got to prove Anna that I'm capable of,
So it was you.
of doing
It was
something.
me.
No, it was you too. Don't get me wrong, but Anna said, yeah, I wasn't a grinder. So then, yeah.
What else you got?
It's called tough love.
Tough love, right?
I lost it. There it is. Do followers equate to more sale, Matthew Heim? Yes and no. It becomes, when it comes to e-commerce in general, when it comes to marketing, I should say, it is a numbers game for sure. And really it comes down to more eyes and more subscribers on any platform, be it social, be it YouTube, be it TikTok, be it Instagram. It does become a number game, because the more subscribers you have on there, the more chances are for those eyes to see the content that you're putting out. And the sales most of the time don't come from, oh, let me post a watch, picture of a watch and a price, and here comes the sale. No, it comes from us providing educational content. It comes from us providing entertaining content. And of course, in the mix of all of that, there's the product that we sell, i.e. watches, jewelry, accessories, and things of that nature. So yes, more followers means more eyes, and more eyes on a product that you're selling, because this is what we do here, we sell product, they certainly equate to more sales. What else you got? Oh, one of those. Super chat from brother Clint. What first luxury watch would you suggest sub $10,000, not Hublot? And the answer has been the same for years. Buy what you like first and foremost. There are so many options under $10,000. But I will tell you this, Rolex is first money watch, right? And just ask yourself, what is it you're looking for? Are you looking for a flex? Are you looking for history? Are you looking for horological value, complication value, and things of that nature? And whatever sinks to you within your budget, in this case, being under $10,000, is the watch you buy. If I was buying a watch, what's the first expensive watch I bought myself? Surprise, surprise, it was a Rolex. All right, guys, it's been about an hour and a half at this point. I wanted to thank everyone for tuning in. I wanted to thank everyone for staying with us along this journey we call Gray Market over the last 4 seasons now. I want to thank everyone who liked, who shared, who commented, who subscribed. I wanted to thank everybody, every single one of you guys, our viewers, for allowing us to put forth this education, entertainment, sometimes comedy in front of you. You know, sometimes we can feel vulnerable because we're putting our business out there raw and uncut, as they say. Well, I shouldn't say uncut because that guys have been cutting these videos, but pretty much what you see is what you get. Nothing is pre-planned. It's off the cuff, except maybe this video, because I did have an agenda for this video. But the Gray Market Challenge was a blast. At the end of the day, I'm hoping that you guys got educational and entertainment value out of it, because I know what we got out of it. We got 3 great new additions to our sales team. And guess what? You guys can continue following along their journey, because now they've become permanent members of Luxury Bazaar as of an hour ago. And you get to follow along their journey, both on their social media accounts, as well as our YouTube channel, both the Luxury Bazaar one and the YouTube. And of course, it would be bad if I didn't ask, but I will ask, as I do in every single video: like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next season.
Happy New Year.
Oh, and Happy New Year. Bye, Adrian.
Hopefully, it fucking actually.